for the Lovable Me Show. Based on the award-winning book series, I Am a Lovable Me. Get ready to have some fun learning with Lovable, our resident enlightening bug. Are you ready? Close your eyes and let's count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Now open them. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to the Lovable Me Show. I'm Sharon Penchina, your host and author of the award-winning I Am a Lovable Me books for children. To kick things off, we'll start the show with our weekly video vlog message. Today's short vlog is all about belly breathing. Make sure you stick around after the short video plays to meet my special guest today. She's an expert when it comes to breath work, and we're in for a really big treat, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Lovable Me weekly vlog, where you will find valuable tools and enlightenment to support your child's self-confidence and self-esteem. Breath is the link between mind and body. Dan Brule. How many times have you experienced stress and had someone say, just take a deep breath? Maybe you even said it to your child. Teaching your child deep belly breathing provides them with a simple but effective strategy for slowing down both mentally and physically. Deep belly breathing has many physical and emotional benefits, including belly breathing increases levels of calm while decreasing stress and anxiety. Belly breathing is the body's way of releasing carbon dioxide along with many toxins. Belly breathing draws more air into your lungs, improving oxygenation of the blood, enhancing metabolism, and filling you with more energy and vigor each day. Belly breathing increases focus, attention, and learning. Belly breathing improves pro-social behavior. Belly breathing enhances daily happiness. Here are 4 simple steps to help teach your child belly breathing. 1. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds through the nose. 2. Ask your child to place a hand on their belly, pretending it is a balloon, while feeling the belly inflate when inhaling. 3. Wait 2 seconds and then slowly exhale through the mouth, letting the air out of the belly. 4. Wait 2 seconds and then repeat. Teaching your child belly breathing will give them control over their emotions, their learning, and their own life. And don't forget to check out our Lovable Me books in Apple iBooks, Amazon Kindle books, and Google Play books.
Welcome back. Look, when it comes to managing anger, reducing anxiety or fear, or simply as a great way to oxygenate the body, breathing is a powerful tool that you can teach your children. And to help us navigate the ins and outs of breath work and the reasons to make it an important aspect of your life, as well as your child's life, is my special guest today, Dr. Caron Goode. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She's the founder of the Academy for Coaching Parents, where she trains and certifies parenting coaches. She's also a prolific author of 6 parenting books and 30 digital products and courses. Topics include coaching, emotional competence, parenting, core temperaments, relationships, and digital business and marketing. Since breathing is my default self-empowerment tool and helps me get balanced and present, I'm really happy to introduce Caron here today. You know, Caron and I first met up several years ago when I wrote my second book, I Take a Deep Breath, and she was kind enough then to give me a great testimonial. And on that note, I want to thank her again for her kind words of encouragement and welcome her to the Lovable Me Show. Caron, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sharon. It's good to be here with you today.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I love this topic. So I want to jump right in and start to pick your brain because I think, you've got a lot of great information to share with the parents, caregivers, teachers, everyone that watches. So can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you became involved with breath work?
My background is as a teacher. So when my husband, Tom Goode, and I started participating in breath and breathing workshops, we ended up facilitating ages from, preschool. Mothers would bring their children. And then, of course, the adults learned the belly breath, which is taking your breath as an inhale and expanding the stomach area and the gut area for better digestion and better health. So we got started when the parents brought their children to the breathing workshops, and then the children would lay down and breathe with their parents, or we might teach some yoga moves, or children might stand on all, like an animal on all fours, and we would act out some fun games. So I got started almost 30 years ago, along with my husband, Tom Goode. And we've been teaching breath work in that facilitating workshops around the globe in this for like 20 some years. So we go way back.
Wow, that's terrific. So, I mean, you mentioned a couple of things. What makes breathing, so important? I mean, maybe if we can elaborate a little bit about the many benefits of teaching, kids to breathe, and the fact that it's great that you have these programs and parents can go and learn from you. Obviously, they're going to take that home with them, and teach their children about breathing. What would motivate them? What makes breathing such an important tool?
I think there are three things I can contribute that start with an experiment I did in a first grade classroom in a public school in Colorado. The children were all 6, 7, 8 years old, and the teacher had taken the breathwork training. So she wanted to bring a circle of breathing to her classroom and to see how did the children respond? How did they like it? What was the result? Overall, I can summarize the results by saying they were quieter. They weren't jumping around as much, and they had kind of just a fun demeanor. They were quieter, they were less active. That was the result of what we did in that particular classroom. So when the word spread and parents wanted to learn this, primarily it was to de-stress their child. Some children who had a learning disability or who were highly active, this kind of deeper breathing settles the energy. It calms the energy. So that was one reason why parents get involved. The other is as an exercise, because while parents can breathe sitting down or laying down and use that as a daily getting rid of fatigue kind of exercise, the children want to participate. And so they do. When a child might lay down next to the parent can put their hand right on the child's belly and watch, practice the inhale and the exhale as it goes up and down. That brings the energy to quiet, to calm, to a deeper sense of self-concept too. It helps a lot of women who need to lose weight or become more energetic, have more energy. It helps to breathe down into the belly to release stress. And that's the primary reason that we teach it and are still teaching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it to be, just a powerful and very natural way to get more connected with my body when I breathe, and that allows me to become more present and aware of, any emotions that are kind of, washing through me, and able to calm down the mental chatter as well. So it certainly is a great way to get balanced and centered and present. I wonder if you could elaborate a little bit about maybe the science behind breathing, the health benefits.
I can certainly touch on those because calming and getting rid of stress are two of the primary aspects of breathing. When people breathe through their lungs and they're shallow breathers, that actually causes more distress or stresses the system more than necessary, put it that way. Mm-hmm. So for the calming effect, the breathing has to come down to at least the gut level underneath the lungs and into the full abdomen. And filling up the abdomen with air de-stresses this area and causes some relaxation to happen instead of the uptight energy that we all feel when we're stressed out, or like a neck pain or shoulder pain, because you've held that tension for so long doing a job or working somewhere. The de-stressing through breath brings it down to a calming effect that has the gut expanding along with the lung area. So it's a full body breathing, if you will. And when you do that, you can't keep stress inside. It just kind of melts away. It's nice. Easy way to do it.
Yeah, we all know that stress is probably one of the biggest causes of health issues. So if we can utilize such a natural, innate tool that we already have and possess, and again, maybe, the idea of just knowing that it's oxygenating the body. And I don't know if you can talk to that impact that it has, that oxygenating cells in the body is so beneficial. Those things are, great reasons to use breathing, and to teach your kids breathing, and to use it yourself.
That's true. When a parent would use it in order to calm a child, the benefits of health actually bring in more energy. But there's also some simple poses, yoga poses, that also enhance this breathing that children enjoy. And sometimes it might involve crawling, or just laying with a parent, or doing the breathing standing up, where a parent can put their palms right at the child's belly and help the child feel the breath deeper as they practice getting it out of the chest, out of that stress point area, down into the calming area. That's helpful.
So, there are so many different forms of breath work. And, you've mentioned the belly breathing as being, a very important one to teach your children to do, and to do ourselves. Are there any others that you recommend, or is that the one, technique that you highly promote?
We do promote this, but the reason that we call it the belly breath is probably also psychological, because most people get stuck here in the diaphragm, whether they're overweight or eat too much, or just haven't exercised and don't have a lot of juice, energy in their body. The shutdown area is here, where we digest the food and digest life. So to clear that area out, in a sense of pressures or sitting too long or being stiff, it also helps that kind of expression. So if first graders are sitting for several hours in a circle group and story time, and recess is coming and we just want to crash out the door, but the easiest way to get the children to be calmer and focused, as well as adults, is bringing the breath at least to the diaphragm, not the chest, but moving it then, as you can with practice, into the belly area. I think it's hard for people like I might sit all day, and work on the computer, or I might have been in an office and I wouldn't have had time just to wind down. A couple deep breaths is just an honest, easy wind down way to feel better. And like you said, to feel connected again to yourself instead of scattered with all the things that you wanted to accomplish today. Gets you out of your head.
Are there a specific number of times throughout the day that you recommend not just doing our normal everyday breathing, which we need to do to survive, but to actually focus on, that diaphragmatic or belly breathing?
That's a good question. From some of the women that I talk with and moms that I deal with, the breathing that they like to do is usually twice a day. And it depends upon the occupation. Those that work at home or that are able to stay at home actually do it as an exercise period. And once may be enough for them. For people who work in offices and who go out of their home and they're stuck in traffic and those kinds of things, my husband and I have recommended 2 times at least, a time to wind down, maybe even doing it in the office chair before you have to drive, or if you're driving and stuck in traffic, that's a time to relax the gut instead of being so tense and holding your shoulders tight. So twice a day works for people who are that busy in the world and that are in office jobs or driving home or not. When someone's at home, it's easy to do, but the stress isn't there all the time when you're at home working. At least not for me.
Is there a number of actual breaths that we need to do, during those periods of belly or diaphragmatic breathing in order to really get the benefits? Do you have a recommendation on that?
Only from my conversations with other people that have done it. 5 breaths. Some people feel great if we can just do 5, okay, and expand the belly and get it down there. But if you're actually wanting to relax before you go home, or you're trying to just calm before the children come in the door, 10 deep breaths can do it for you. It changes the focus of the mind and oxygenates the body enough that your energy is renewed if you can take the 10 deep breaths down from the abdomen to the belly.
Okay. And so with that sounds like something that you're suggesting or recommending that the adults do. Is there a specific age to start teaching children diaphragmatic breathing? Are there, can you give us a little bit more info on that and insight as to, when to get started, how often you want to do it with your kids, teaching them to actually do the act of diaphragmatic breathing, and maybe how many breaths to take?
I think it's going to depend upon the child and the child's ability diaphragmatically, because the younger children aren't fully developed in their breathing. But in the early years, when this was being taught, there were several moms who developed poses for children as animals. And so she would play an animal game, and the lion might need to lay down to rest that afternoon. So then she would come and work with the child. And she started with the 5 deep breaths. And if children are still breathing too shallow, she would ask they take a longer breath. So if you're getting down into the diaphragm and going deeper than the shallow chest breathing, she would take a long, slow breath like this through the mouth, and then she would settle in she would touch the children's abdomen on their out breath. And in doing so, the child could relax then. And she'd wait a little time and then do another breath. So in teaching breathing, I think 5 deep breaths with the break in between where a parent is touching the gut and say, good, you got it down here. Try again, and let's fill up the belly again like a balloon. And then, the parent would touch them again and compliment and say, let's try it a little deeper, or let's try it again. And then the reward for doing these is bringing the breath to a standing position with some games that we do with the younger children. So to be the children usually pick something that they want to be, or a character that they like. And then we play it out in those different areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that might give you an idea of how to approach it, or how a parent could approach it without kind of imposing like it's our breathing time, let's go do this. It's got to be a game for the younger children. By the time the older children get the hang of it, they use it on their own because it's relaxing, it's centering. It keeps
absolutely
the angers away.
Yeah, everything's got to be a game when you're starting, with kids, that early on, and maybe even, getting a bag of balloons and blowing up a balloon and having them do some visualization and, really make it that much more experiential with them.
Exactly.
A good thing to do. Caron, is there anything else that you might want to share that I haven't touched on, in terms of, parents, teachers, caregivers, something they can walk away with that you recommend to get the ball rolling with their kids and helping to raise awareness about breath work?
Yeah, I think there's two things that we've touched on here. One is to make it a game is inviting to the child, and it's helpful. If the parent can demonstrate it first and explain that we're going to start with the chest breath, but we're going to come down later. You want the child in the deep breath up here to feel it. So you reach a point where, the exhale is forced when you're in the chest. And when you bring it down to the belly and start practicing with the hands on, it becomes a very relaxing, giggly kind of time with younger children. Mm-hmm. So if the parent can stay there and demonstrate it, becoming an animal, buzzing like a bee, using some of the terms in your books, there are a ton of wonderful metaphors a parent can use without it being, come on, it's time to breathe now. You have to do this for your health. It's an invitation. It's a game. And starting with the chest is just fine. Get the child at least know, oh, this is breathing. Okay, I'm going to open my mouth. I'm going to take a deep breath. And then we're going to settle in expanding the belly. That's the key to digestion. And it's the key to tummy aches for children. And most parents don't realize that a simple deep breathing can solve a lot of their children's, I won't say it will solve hyperactivity, but it certainly calms children down and brings them to a state of relaxation instead of hyper feeling of tension.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's something that, parents are going to really appreciate in addition to the amazing health benefits. But, we all have times where we've been out in the world with our children and, they might throw a tantrum or there'll be a time where we're really super challenged, and teaching them this tool and doing it repeatedly so that ultimately it becomes an automatic habit for them and behavior is going to be a lifesaver, because I think, again, it can become your default self-empowerment tool, and it will become your child's default self-empowerment tool, especially in those challenging times. So
that's a great name for it. That's a great name for it. And, it reminds me of a mom who wanted her daughter to move through this because the daughter had anxiety. And there was a lot of resistance from the daughter. The daughter did embrace it and they got it going. And what ended up happening was the daughter invited more of her friends, the kids in her class at school, to come and let the mother teach them all breathing, because they had finals coming up, they had graduations coming up, they, doing college admissions, and the other parents began to get the idea, and it spread throughout that little community in Maine. So it was to have a group and understand that it's the best thing for teens and preteens for relaxation. Takes them couple minutes, that's it. But to make it their empowerment tool is extremely useful, particularly for high school students that have more stressors today than probably we had when we were younger.
Absolutely. I think it's a universal tool. It's good for so many things. And I think, we can safely say you and I both highly advocate using this. Caron, if you'd like to share your contact information, how people can reach you, any parents who are interested in coaching, before we end our show, please go ahead and share that with them now if you'd like.
Sure, thank you. My email is Caron, Caron, 30, number 30, @gmail.com. And the website that I'm primarily using at this point is the Academy for Coaching Parents.com. And it trains adults to become coaches for parents to work through a lot of the parenting issues that they have. That was the focus when we started it, and it goes strong. So those two might be very helpful.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Teaching your child to use their breath could be the single most important self-empowerment tool we teach them. So I want to thank you, Caron, so much for joining me today and shedding some light on this very important topic, and hope that, you'll come back again in the future.
My pleasure. I'd be happy to. Thank you for putting all of this out there so parents know what's available to them.
Thank you so much. Remember, breathing is a great mindful practice. It's non-invasive, it's natural, and it works. Please be sure to check out my book, I Take a Deep Breath. It's a great way to introduce breathing to your kiddos early on. And be sure to check out all the I Am a Lovable Me books, got to say that one right, today by clicking on the link at the very end of this video. They're available in hardcover as well as audio iBooks. Also, you'll never miss any of our great shows by watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, and Periscope every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lastly, if you have a topic that you think parents and caregivers want to hear about, and you'd like to be a guest on my show, please go ahead and message me on Facebook. I'm your host, Sharon Penchina, and I'll be back next week with some more great self-empowerment tips for you. Thank you all for joining in, and be sure to have a fantastic day today.
Thank you for watching The Lovable Me Show. Also, if you have any questions for Lovable, go ahead and ask away. Don't forget to visit us next week, right here in the Facebook book.